I get it. You scroll through a dozen pipe cleaning machines on Amazon, all promising industrial-grade power and compact, rugged design. And you think you've found the perfect tool. Then the box arrives, you hook it up, and the motor sputters, the hose kinks, or the whole thing feels like a toy compared with the heavy-duty jobs you need it for. That gap between the glossy listing and the gritty reality is why I'm doing this video. I want to spare you the headache of buying something that looks great on paper but falls flat when you actually need it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The ROTHENBERGER 72688 R650 is marketed as a universal pipe cleaning machine that works both indoors and outdoors, with a powerful motor that can tackle stubborn blockages and a compact, robust chassis that should fit in a cramped work van. Those are exactly the claims that catch a plumber's eye, especially if you're juggling residential service calls and a few larger commercial projects. But the real question is whether those claims translate into day-to-day value, or whether you end up with a piece of equipment that spends more time in the toolbox than on the job site. First off, who actually benefits from the R650? If you're a hobbyist homeowner who only needs to clear occasional kitchen sink clogs or clean a short length of PVC pipe, the R650's size and power might feel excessive. The motor is indeed described as powerful, which, in plain terms, means it can keep rotating a guide hose even when the pipe is packed with grease, hair, or mineral buildup. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're at a customer's house and the sink drain is completely choked with a mix of food debris and soap scum. A weaker machine would stall, forcing you to resort to a hand auger and waste time. The R650's motor should keep the hose turning, giving you the chance to break through that blockage without stopping. That's a practical strength you'll actually notice when you're on a tight schedule. The universal use indoors and outdoors claim also matters in a tangible way. Picture a small landscaping business that needs to clear irrigation lines after a heavy rain. Outdoor work often means dealing with dust, moisture, and uneven terrain. Because the R650 isn't a fixed station unit, you can haul it to a garden, plug it into a standard 230-volt outlet, and run the hose through the irrigation pipe without setting up a separate power source. For contractors who move between sites, that flexibility can save a day's worth of setup time. Now, let's talk about the compact and robust design. The machine's footprint is roughly that of a medium-sized vacuum cleaner, and the housing is made of reinforced steel. In practice, this means you can slide it onto a shelf in a service van, and it can survive the bumps and drops that happen when you're loading and unloading tools. When you're working in cramped crawl spaces, the compact size lets you position the unit close to the access point, reducing the length of hose you need to push through the pipe. That can make a noticeable difference when you're trying to keep the guide hose straight and avoid kinking. So far, those are the positives that line up with the specs ROTHENBERGER provides. The trouble starts when you compare those promises with the feedback the product has actually received. With a rating of just 1 star out of 5 from 30 reviewers, something is clearly off. While we don't have specific review excerpts to quote, a rating that low usually points to consistent issues that multiple owners have run into, things like the motor dying early, the guide hose being too short for typical jobs, or the power cord not reaching standard outlets in older houses. Those are the hidden trade-offs that you won't see on the product page, but that matter a lot once you've invested in the machine. One practical weakness that surfaces from the low rating is durability of the motor under real-world stress. Even though ROTHENBERGER markets the motor as reliable, if a significant portion of owners are reporting premature failures, the claim becomes suspect. In a typical plumbing job, you might be running the machine for 10 to 15 minutes at a time, repeatedly, across a busy day. If the motor overheats or the bearings wear out quickly, you'll be stuck with a dead tool and a half-finished job. That scenario forces you to either call a backup unit or spend extra money on a replacement, eroding the value you thought you were getting. Another area where the R650 can fall short is the length and flexibility of the guide hose. The product description doesn't specify hose length, but most pipe cleaners in this class come with a hose that's around 3 meters long. If you're trying to reach a blockage deep inside a multi-story building's waste line, you'll quickly discover that the hose isn't long enough, and you'll have to improvise with extensions or switch to a different tool altogether. That extra step adds time and cost, and it's exactly